Hello everyone and welcome. My name is India and I'm a member of the LearnBridge online team. Today I've got a cool hand to show you, so let's have a look at it. Bridge base, so here is the hand. First of all, North is dealer. He has 2-2-5-4 shape, so he'd like to open his longest suit first because he doesn't have a balanced hand. Some of you might play Standard American and think, okay, I've got 16 points, I'm semi-balanced, so that's good enough for me, I want to open 1-0 trump. That's up to you, but to keep things simple, I'm just going to start by opening one of my longest suits. So you see here that North bid 1 diamond. Okay, what about East's bid? So he has a nice 5-card spade suit, and that's good enough for an overcall, even slightly better than you might normally have, because remember, when you bid at the 1 level as an overcall, it just needs to tell partner which suit you want him to lead. It doesn't necessarily need to say that you have an opening hand, but here actually East does have an opening hand, so he doesn't feel ashamed of his 1 spade bid at all. Okay, so now we're in a little bit of an awkward position as South, because we'd love to bid our heart suit, but we don't have enough points to do it, because remember, the rules don't change just because there's been an overcall. If you're a responder and you want to raise the level of the bidding in a new suit, you have to have the points to back it up. You have to have at least an invitational hand, and so you have to have at least 10 points. And we don't have that. But since the topic of next week is going to be negative doubles, I'm sure you're not too surprised to see that South has chosen to double with this hand. So what does double actually show? Well, remember that in a position where your partner has opened a suit and the opponents have overcalled, now your double shows the unbid major. In this case, spades have been bid, so hearts is the major that you're showing. Now you're only promising 4 hearts, but you have another reason for not wanting to bid 2 hearts, because remember 2 hearts show both at least 5 hearts and at least 10 points. Your reason for not bidding 2 hearts is that you don't have enough points, so you're perfectly fine to double with this hand. You definitely want to get in the auction. Now, I'm not sure how many of you might be tempted to bid with this West hand, but it's just a little bit too balanced. If you look at these bits up here, if you're interested in vulnerability, these 2, East and West, are vulnerable and their opponents are not, which means it's more risky for them to take a bit of a chance here. You can also see the vulnerability up here if you're not used to the bridge base viewer. Okay, so vulnerable, very, very balanced, only 4 points, no honor cards and spades, lots of reasons just to stay quiet here. So if we go back to North, he's going to complete the description of his shape by bidding 2 clubs. He's not expecting his partner to have lengthened clubs. The double wasn't exactly a takeout double saying I have hearts and clubs, but North doesn't have heart support, so he's just bidding 2 clubs. Now, although East does have more in terms of points than he's already shown, his hand isn't brilliant, especially now that South has shown hearts. He's got the King of Hearts, but that looks like it might be useless now. Remember that any heart finesse that comes towards South will be going through East, so that's not a good sign for this King of Hearts. Another thing to think about is East's shape. He's very, very balanced, and he would normally expect his partner to have already supported him with a 6 to 9 point hand and 3 spades. So it looks like there's not much point in bidding now. Passes, and then it's South's turn. South doesn't really want to play in clubs or diamonds. Where's the need when you have this lovely 6-card suit? It looks like your hand wants hearts to be trumps. And all your partner has said with 2 clubs is that he couldn't support hearts straight away, so he didn't have 4 of them. You could have a heart fit if partner has 2 or 3, and even if partner only has 1, they're strong enough for you to cope. So you should bid 2 hearts here. Pass again. And now back to opener. And what can he say? Yes, he has 16 points, but let's think about what he knows about his partner's hand. His partner has bid 2 hearts despite knowing that North did not have 4 hearts. If North had had 4 hearts, he would have supported the hearts after the double. So in that case, South must have 5 or more hearts. And if he has 5 or more hearts, he would have been able to bid 2 hearts over 1 spade if he had at least 10 points. So knowing that, North knows that they definitely don't have enough points for game, and he's therefore just going to leave it and pass. Okey-doke. So West leads the 6 of spades, might not be too surprising because his partner bid the suit. So how should South play the hand? Well, his own hand is the base hand because that's the one with the longer trumps. So we're going to count our losers using that as the template. So going suit by suit, South has 3 spade losers. He has 1 heart loser, the king. It's 4 overall. 1 diamond loser, losing to the king. That's 5. And 1 club loser, the ace, for 6. So what could South do? Looking at the spades, he could either throw a spade away on something in the dummy if he manages to, for example, establish the clubs. He could also do that with a diamond. But that's going to require pushing out the ace of clubs at some point. The other option that you have in spades that you don't have in diamonds is to ruff the 3rd round of the suit. Because remember, after you've played 2 rounds, dummy will be void and North will hopefully still have a trump. So we might need to arrange a situation where we run out of spades early and trump a spade. An option for not losing to the king of hearts would be to take a finesse. So you could play the queen and let it run round. But that's not so appealing in this particular situation because remember that even if the finesse wins, you're only going to be able to squash the king if it happened to be in a doubleton at the beginning. So the only time that you can actually not lose to the king is if West started with precisely doubleton king in hearts. And that's a bit less likely now that this 1 spade overcall has come from East. Speaking of finesses, you could take a finesse in diamonds, so you could play a small one to the queen. That's something to bear in mind. And you may be able to establish some length tricks in diamonds, but it's going to take a backseat to establishing the clubs. So it looks like an early priority is going to be to push out the ace of clubs, and that might dictate how the hand goes, and otherwise play a 2nd round of spades if the opponents don't do that. So let's see how things go. Let's see what they do because they're going to win the first trick. So here's Jack, King. Now if we look from East's point of view, what do you think you would do as the defender? Well, there's nothing particularly appealing here because you can see that although you might be able to win the ace of spades now, if you do that, Declarer is just going to find it easier to ruff a spade in the dummy, ruffing in the shorthand. And remember, ruffing in the shorthand is the one that gains you tricks. So that doesn't look too appealing for East. He wants South to work for his tricks. Playing a heart is obviously out because that would be very dangerous. It looks like if East doesn't play hearts, he'll eventually end up with a heart trick. Same in diamonds, he wants to let Declarer play the suit first. So the other option is clubs. And it might be necessary to play a club, for example, if his partner has the king of clubs. He can play through South's ace and establish a trick for his partner. So he's going to do that, and he's going to do it by playing a high club to say to his partner that he doesn't have an honor in the suit. So he's going to play the 8 to make it really, really clear. If you were leading the suit, you would lead the 3. But here the aim is absolute clarity rather than necessarily telling partner how many cards you have in the suit as well. Okay. South needs to be a little bit careful when playing the clubs. I know that they're all equal, but you have to make sure you play top of the short in clubs, which means that if you have these honors that are all equal, you should make sure you play the one from the shorter side first. So that would be the king in this instance, because you don't want to play low for West to win the ace and then for the singleton king to be in the way blocking the suit. So let's preempt that problem. Play the king. It's won by the ace. And a diamond back. So it looks like West has decided to play through the strength in the dummy towards the weakness in our hand, which is a really good defensive principle to follow. What do we think? Well, probably worth. What do we think? Well, is it worth taking the finesse or is it not? Well, look at these clubs. They're all winners. And we already said that one of our possibilities for getting rid of our diamond loser was to throw it on the clubs. Given that the ace of clubs is already gone, there's no need to risk taking a finesse and diamonds. So let's watch how this works. So we win the ace of diamonds, and we play a club. We have to follow suit, all fine, and then we play another club. East follows suit, very pleased about that. But now we can throw our diamond away. Perfect. So this is a really good habit to get into. Once some task has been completed, recount your losers just to make sure you're on the right track. So as South, we have 2 losers in spades, 1 in hearts, and we've already lost 2 tricks. So it now looks like rather than losing 6 tricks, we're going to lose 5 tricks. What else can we do? Well, we talked about this spade. In order to trump the spade, we're going to need to void ourselves in the dummy. So let's do that now. Remembering that the 4th round of clubs is definitely going to get trumped by the opponents. We play the queen of spades, East wins. We knew he would have the ace. And he tries to take his king of diamonds, but luckily, and due to our good play, it's too late for his king of diamonds. It's going to go away on our trump. Okay, so we won that one. And now we can play a spade and trump in the dummy. Let's recount again. We've done another task. Always good to recount your losers several times during the hand just to make sure you're chugging along nicely. So we have 1 loser in hearts, and we've lost 3 tricks already. So now we're even a trick better than we were, and we're only going to lose 4 tricks. The final thing to do is to see if we can avoid losing a trick to the king of trumps, which is only going to happen if the king is singleton, because we just have the ace and the dummy to play, which is blocking the suit. So let's try it. Not feeling too optimistic, but we may as well. It doesn't look like the king is falling, but that's the only trick we have to lose. So we can claim 9 tricks. We can give 1 to the opponents and take the other 3, and we've already got 6, as you can see down here. Great work! I hope you found this hand interesting and it's given you a nice taster of the kind of hands that we're going to be bidding in our supervised play session next week. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of you there. And until then, happy bridging. Bye!